OCO, what's up, beautiful souls? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Mamina. You can call me Mina for short or Divine Star Seed. This is a pick a card focusing on the energy of karmic release, particularly releasing it from yourself, from something within your own energetic system, surrounding and etc. So it's not necessarily focusing on a karmic family member or individual that you're dealing with, but those things could still pop up here because it's things that you need to release and let go of in order for that stunt growth to start expanding again, in order for you to start seeing a change in your atmosphere, in your life for the better. You have two choices here. We have Ra with pile 1 and Horus with pile 2. The tarot I'll be using for this one is the Full Metal Alchemist Tarot, and the tarot I'll be using for this one is Overwatch. So either based on maybe the themes of the tarot or based on the figures that you see here, you'll make your choice. Before you do it, I recommend that you close your eyes, inhale slowly for the count of 5, hold the breath for 4, and slowly release the breath for 5. That number is significant for both piles, for the whole collective. Okay? Do that breath work as many times as you need to until you feel grounded. And then later on, look up that set of numbers and see how it further clarifies your message. And I will see you at your pile. All right, pile 1. You chose Ra. And with the energy that's channeling for you, I'm hearing transmutation. So what you need to release, it's going to trigger a transmutation. This could be turning pain into joy, for example. Something needs to be purged and completely just reform altogether into a complete different thing in order for you to reach your most illuminated state. Ra is a sun god. So in order for you to reach that expression, that inner divinity within yourself, there's something that has to go. And I'm feeling like you might be a person that has a lot of fieriness to you. That's actually, you got to know how to use your fire element, whether you resonate with the element or it's just heavily in your chart. You've got to know how to use it in your favor. Use it to help for transformation. Use it to help to promote new life sparking instead of it just being a destructive force. Okay? Let's get into your message. King of Fire. Knight of Fire. Look, off the bat. Fire energy. It doesn't have to be in your chart, but it's an energy, that element that you can get a lot of power from. We got air here as well. Air can either add fume to the flame, so to speak, help it spread, or it can put it out. Let's see what we got going on here. There's a sense of arrogance, cockiness for someone here. Could also be someone you're dealing with. Take what resonates for you. Be honest. Be honest with yourself about what's resonating. I'm getting the vibration that someone's trying to help a person just achieve to be better, whether it's like in life, in business. They could really be, they're like of a mentor energy. For some of you, the person might be trying to help you, but it's like you're not listening because when you look at their life, you don't see the examples of success in it. So for example, let's say this person comes to you and they're like, here's some tools to be prosperous. And you're like, well, if those tools were so great, why aren't you using them? And or how come they haven't worked for you? I'm gonna tell it to you like this, because I covered this a lot on my channel before. And it's funny how a lot of people really don't think from this perspective. If a person's giving you advice and they have not used it, and they're making it seem like it's something that's just going to work for just working sake, that will be evident. If a person's giving you advice because there's something that they should have implemented, they didn't, and then the result was something wasn't successful, they failed, they went through a harsh lesson, that's a different scenario. Sometimes when people were hard-headed and just didn't listen to the energies, thought they knew everything, called themselves just hopping from one thing to the next, blazing the trail, not caring about what bridges they burnt and etc. Because I'll be the first to tell you, if you need to burn a bridge with a person that is toxic or a situation that's not productive, here's the match, boo-boo. But know when that is what the bridge is. Some people just out of anger, trauma that has nothing to do with the person they're talking to. The person they're talking to have nothing to do with that trauma, hasn't even really provoked it, but out of that just hurt soul, hurt mentality, they will sometimes cut off really good energy that was put in their life to actually help them evolve, and I'm not talking from the standpoint of toxic karmic, who becomes a lesson that once you learn it, you elevate. I'm just talking about the people who come in as the mentors, as the person that boosts you up, that supports you. And sometimes people will take those individuals for granted and end up burning those bridges and having to learn the lesson the hard way. Now, some will get stuck in that karmic energy, meaning though they recognize that was the problem, they kind of feel like, well, I've done it too much. There's no way for me to fix that. It's kind of like, now, this is channeling for whatever reason. So if some of y'all resonate, it is what it is. It's kind of like when some people hustle a certain way in life, or they, join the wrong crowds. If they really feel like they're deep in the trenches of it, they don't think they can get out of it. They've kind of renounced themselves to that role. But when they look at you, they see a person that can get ahead, that can get out of it. In fact, that can avoid it altogether. So that's why they give that advice. You need to know the difference. I just saw 555 as I said that. Somebody's hot-headedness or a need to kind of rush and therefore disregard the warning light, so to speak, you're setting yourself up. And that's why a lot of times you'll start maybe a project, or you'll start seeing, development somewhere, and then it just kind of caves. It just sort of collapses on itself because you're not checking to make sure that that foundation is sound. It's like someone's going through many towers, but there is the energy. For some of you, it's some of the people that might be sent your way trying to help right now, or that will be coming in to help, are coming from ancestors. Ancestors don't just help you by saying, okay, boo-boo, here's a dream. Here's a number sequence. Okay, that's it. No, they send people. They try to put you in the right atmosphere. They'll help by putting you in the right situation. Maybe it's not a physical person, but it's like you're in a better environment. Imagine someone is saying to you, hey, I think that you'll really grow and expand if you come out here and you stay for a while. Like, for example, when somebody says, hey, get out of the hood for a while, or when someone says, I have a retreat, come in, just come out here and relax. You're overworking yourself, or blah, blah, blah. And it's like a person just disregards it. Just, no, I don't think that's going to work, blah, 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 blah. The person that's trying to help you is trying to help you have a higher viewpoint, an advantage by having a higher view, being able to see something in a broader way, not broad to overwhelm you, but just so that you can actually realize what's happening. Instead of only seeing something from the perspective of a small little box, they're putting you on a mountain. Not to dictate to you what to do once you're on that mountain. It's just like when we do these collective readings and even private readings, we can pick up on the energy all day, right? We can see, detailed things on my channel. It gets very specific, for example, but it's not my job to force you to do anything. It's not my job to even force you to really see what it is that I'm seeing. That's your job. That's your responsibility. You have to walk your journey. I'm simply here to say, okay, should this be your issue, right? Or if this is where the current energy is and it's funky, it's not helping you right now, you need to release this and purge it. Here are some of the tools to do so. Here are some of the things that are already accessible to you that you can grab onto to go ahead. That's putting you in a higher vantage point than where you were before, than what you were doing before. And if what you were doing before ain't working today, it's not working right now, then someone coming along to help you out should be an advantage. If you call yourself, maybe you're the person in the position of trying to help an individual wake up. You're trying to help an individual and it's giving you anxiety because they could be very important to you, but they're just not listening. You're trying to make a situation better, and it's like the other moving components that contribute to that situation just aren't getting it. It's not clicking it. And they're using every excuse in the book not to. Oh, my trauma. Oh, because I've done this before. Oh, I know what I'm doing because 20 years ago I did this one thing and it was so successful. Okay, but that was 20 years ago though. Right? That's how you feel, like that was 20 years ago. We're here today. What are you doing today? How is it working for you now? Oh, it's not. And if you're very much connected to that situation or person, maybe it's a living arrangement, a lover, a relative, you kind of feel like if they don't get their ish together, it sort of blocks you. No one can block you but you. If you believe that, and if you allow yourself to keep feeling anxious or depressed or upset about something that's going on, and you're taking on this other person's feelings or vibration, then yeah, they're going to be able to have that impact on you. Everybody's an influencer, therefore everyone can be influenced to some capacity. We can watch a movie and we can cry because damn, that scene was beautiful, or it was sad, whatever the case may be. It would be foolish to think that when you're dealing with people face to face or dealing with situations in the moment that the same thing doesn't apply, which is why you must be mindful and be very in tune to your instincts and your intuition, so discernment can be used where it's need to, and you can peep game, because somebody needs to peep what's going on. The trauma you need to release is anything that puts you in that state where you feel like you can't listen, or anything that puts you in a state where you feel like you must be the individual to save this person, kind of like, I have to help them. I've got to shake them and get them to see, but it's not working. You're met with resistance all the time. We have justice here. Justice, divine truth through order, harmony, balance, the heart being lighter than the feather. Someone's heart is heavy. Someone's balance is off. An individual doesn't feel or isn't being completely honest with themselves about either what they're doing. There could be, again, this energy of arrogance, this here, or they're not being honest with themselves about allowing a person to kind of get away with acting crazy and trying to help them. And if they're not making excuses, you could be the person saying, well, they're my little sister, they're my father, because I am picking up a father-like energy, or maybe like, an older male. Oh, there's someone of importance that, I have to take care of because I'm obligated to. Oh, well, I live with them, or is this, or is that. You can, look, you raise your vibration, the means come in to move. You raise your vibration and you get balance. You're able to help somebody better from a balanced state of place. But please understand, you can't force them to do ish. They have to want to be better. You clicked on this message. It said karmic release. You knew that there was something within yourself, because that's what this is channeled for, to be released, which means you've already acknowledged that something has to change. Something has to give. Now, are you willing to put yourself in a position to come together within your own being, transmute that pain, transmute that trauma, transmute the I have to be I got to take care of them, I'm the protector, I'm the giver, when truthfully the person you're trying to help they're just not feeling it right now. They may never feel it. How much more of yourself will you sacrifice in the meantime, running up your anxiety? I want you to this figure coming out of the smoke is this man's wife. Okay? this man's wife passed. A lot of guilt. He left her with the two boys. He spent so much time wallowing in the guilt and doing all these other things when really all his family wanted was for him to be there. So the boys really didn't have a connection with him. When the mother passes, the boys try to bring her back through alchemy. They try to do the forbidden act of bringing back. And we're not talking about, because people like to compare like the Isis Osiris thing to kind of like a necromancy. No, they're two different things. This is trying to bring a person back, vessel and all. And the way that the alchemy was used, first of all, you're not bringing back the real body. You're not bringing back the accurate soul. If anything, if it was any fragment of the soul, it ends up being broken. It's not a rebirth. It's not a mending together. It's literally just, you don't know what you're bringing back from the other side. There were so many traumas that the boys went through, and then so many traumas that the father went through, that a lot of times he couldn't see the forest for the trees, and a lot of times they too had really harsh lessons to learn. The lesson of trying to bring her back was the harshest, because they didn't have anything of equal value to exchange for that soul. So one brother, he lost his whole body. His soul went into a suit of armor. The other brother lost his one of his legs and like two of his arms. You see what I'm saying? It's like something's being sacrificed that's not of equal value. Somebody's taking past traumas and experiences and allowing it to dictate their steps to the extent that it's halting a blessing, and it needs to be released and it needs to be let go of. So this smoke here looks like her soul finally being set free. This could represent your soul finally being set free. But over here we have him just looking at the fire. He's not even noticing this. He's so caught up in his mind with maybe worry or stress or whatever he got going on, selfishness, whatever, that he doesn't even notice it. And so then that keeps him stuck in a certain timeline. Like, do you see? Comment below if you understand where this energy, what this energy is trying to tell you, how it's trying to help you. We're going to tap into a little more definition to this shadow side. This karmic release is very much tied into needing to heal the shadow, needing to let the shadow cleanse. I always tell you guys, your shadow, the shaded element of you, it's the protector of you. It absorbs. What does the color black do? It absorbs the sun. Your shadow, your shade, comes out of you standing somewhere, and it can reflect because the sun is blocked at the time. But it will still absorb the warmth. So when you go through certain traumas, when you go through certain experiences, if you don't purge those energies, if you don't transmute those energies, they turn into gook, and that gook and that murkiness turns into a rogue version of self, or it turns into rogue actions happening around you. It's one of the ways that karmic energies can lash onto you, even though you may not deserve it, because you haven't let go of the type of energy that sucks it in and draws it in. So we're going to see what it is that part of you is trying to release, to transmute from its system. We have, can't make it up, we have masquerade. Take off the mask. We talked about influence of energy here. 15, devil card in the tarot, a card of a lot of times needing to free yourself from bondage and or negative influences. Somebody is playing harder than they need to be. Someone is playing savior when they don't need to do that. It's covering up an issue within yourself that you need to heal. We have I won't cry for you. Someone actually does need to cry. Someone actually does need to purge through tears. And it's like, no, I'm too strong-headed for that. I'm a thug. I'm G. Or I'm just a warrior all day. A real warrior can cry. A real warrior can shed tears where tears need to be shed. A real warrior will honor themselves in that way, will honor others in that way. They're not going to just bury something and go, oh, it's not a problem anymore, it's done with. 22 is here, the number 4. 4 was a part of the breath work. I always recommend that you guys listen to the number in the breath work because it does play a part in the message. A truth needs to be seen. A truth needs to be seen. A true face, a true energy of a person. The real view of a situation needs to be seen in order for there to be balance. Somebody needs to release their pain through their tears so that they can then transmute that pain into joy. Someone else needs to stop shedding tears for an individual that don't deserve it. You would know who that person is. We have, look at that, triumph of lies. What was I saying this whole time? I don't even need to explain that card. Justice is right here. Somebody got to admit that their heart is heavier than the feather. We're going to get into the spiritual warfare deck. And of course, the decks I'm tagged below. This could be the energy someone's projecting onto you. But again, remember, this karmic release is about what you got to get out of your system. So some of the information that comes out here may channel as something that you've got to purge out of your own system. First card face up, we have Lovers. Admiration and love coming through. Potential suitor or those who already know. Some are a blessing and some come with heavy lessons. The Lovers card in the tarot can represent connections and bonds. They don't all have to be romantic. Some can be platonic, or again, the energy of friends, family, or I always say, you got your frenemies, which means they're not really your friends, and your fanemies, which means they're really not your family. They're more of an enemy than anything else. They come with a harsh lesson. If you are trying to help somebody that's being too ignorant in their energy right now to change, if you are trying to fix a situation that's just not your situation to fix, you're jeopardizing yourself and halting your blessings. And you might be doing this because you're saying to yourself, I didn't have anybody to help me when I was younger. Nobody, if somebody could have done for me what I'm trying to do for this other person. But baby girl, baby boy, listen, you would have been receptive to that energy. If a person could have come through and tried to help you, you would have listened. And to be honest, at times, something or someone probably did, and you couldn't see it because you were living in the trauma in the moment and living in the pain in the moment. You've got to release that guilt, and you have to release the idea that you must sacrifice yourself in order to help another. If you're the person that's being arrogant, if you're the person that's kind of pushing and shunning information and help because you think at some point this person will turn on me anyway, whatever your excuse may be, it's up to you. Lovers card also represents choice. It's up to you to recognize that something you did is the problem, that something within you is the problem, and that you need to fix it. It's not about guilting you. It's not about shaming you, for real. It's about you understanding what's happening so that you can illuminate, so that you can be in the highest position in your divinity. And you can watch the miracles and the blessings come in. There's someone in your life giving you advice. Maybe this reading was the advice. Whatever. Take it how it resonates. You're responsible for that. Remember, you're responsible for what you need to do. You're responsible for how you interpret a message. But there's also others in your life who are a heavy lesson. Both of the energies, whether you resonate with all of it or some of it, and one card is getting confirmed. Real love wants to find you. Real love wants to be there for you. It wants to come to you in all the ways you deserve. You do not have to think, oh, well, in order for me to have a loving relationship, I have to sacrifice family. If your blood family isn't in your corner, your soul family will be. Your soul family is either already around you and you're not paying attention, or they're coming in and they've probably been hovering in your atmosphere and you can't see the forest for the trees. If it's the other way around, if a lover is trying to pull you away from a family that you know is protective of you and always had your back, never told you nothing wrong, and this person does you dirty, gaslights you, is a narcissist, whatever, because the King of Wands can be a narcissistic person in a negative energy, then you already know what you need to do. What choice? You already know what you have to do. The answer's right there. Look at this. We have I mentioned 15 with the energy, and we have Dark Overlord. Bro. Transmuting the energies. Letting go. Releasing yourself from bondage. Freeing yourself. Actively making the choice to free yourself. And being mindful once you are free. Because so many people will get physically free, but they're not mentally free. They're not spiritually free. You need to get free. Remember I said justice is what? Truth through divine order. In a negative sense, we have secret societies and organizations. Organization. An order or a secret society, which can also be an order that can have a toxic influence. What from your past is influencing you in a negative way? And how can you change that energy from being negative into being positive, which means that it completely it's not the same thing. It's a complete new thing. It's no longer pain. The pain is released. Energy doesn't die. So that means once that pain is released, instead of it just lingering in the air where it can come back in, you transmute it into joy. Are you following? Wow. Low-level demon. A demonic force whose skills are less advanced. Wow. Is it like, do you see how this is all aligning? Somebody here is dealing with a energy that's just, it's not good for you. And it could be an energy within yourself. It's not saying that you have to identify with being a demon, but there's a low vibrational energy, be it in you or someone near you, that needs to be purged, because when it stays intact, negative things start to happen. Negative things get more power. Let's see how you can elevate out this situation. There are no problems without solutions. There are no questions without answers. But sometimes, loves, the solution, the answer is going to come through as you take action, as you move. Everything's not going to just be laid out for you, completely blueprinted. You've got to get moving. You plant the seed, okay, but you got to make sure you're taking care of that soil. You're checking in on it every now and then. You're watering it. You're making sure it's getting natural light, whatever it needs so that it can grow. It's not just, okay, I plant the seed, I forgot about it, and it's done. You have to monitor that land on occasion. You just don't allow yourself to stress out about it, because you know that nature's going to take its course as well. You listen to your instincts, and you listen to your instincts, and you listen to your intuition. Speaking of which, we have life path number 2 here. Harmony, relationships, partnerships. You prefer not to be in the limelight. Championship is important to you, or companionship is important to you. Listen. And understand something. You being in an illuminate state, your light shining and illuminating an area, that doesn't, hold on guys, let me bring some light in here. Whenever we're getting to a certain message, sometimes the light starts to reflect. Hold on. A lot of times when we're getting into certain messages, the light starts to dim, reflecting like the energies and what's going on. And I have my window open right now. Genuine companionships are coming in here. For those of you who have somebody near you that's giving you sound guidance, they're not, please do not mistake a person that gives guidance for a dictator or an egotistical individual who may be gifted and talented, but quite frankly, they're only helping you for the pure fact of saying, ooh, I did that, and they don't want you to go but so high. Okay, yeah, I'm going to help you get to a certain point, but don't go but so far. Don't get too far ahead. Do not mistake the two. We are not the same. A real person giving you some guidance, a real person giving you some advice wants to see you elevate to your highest potential and beyond. We're not even sitting here. This ain't about competition. This isn't about comparison. You got your light and your crown. I got mine. So and so and such and such got theirs. And we can all win out here. Ain't no excuses. So there are real companionships that are coming for you or already around you. Open your eyes and see them. Don't keep sabotaging yourself. Release that energy of sabotage. Allow for yourself to be in harmony. You may not always prefer the limelight. A lot of times you might, some of you or someone you know may help people and then kind of like hide. You're not meant to hide all the time. You're not meant to just sit in the background all the time. And again, if you really want to be in a position where you can genuinely help someone, and even if it's from the background, you first got to do a lot of healing within yourself. You must be in balance within yourself. Balance is the main topic here. Libra energy, balance. Even here with the page of air and all of the air elements it represents, when we're talking about the Gemini, when we're talking about the Aquarius energy, when you're balanced in those vibrations, you win. We got the fire energy out here. Sagittarius, drawing back the bow, taking the shot, hitting the mark, being social. We have two energies here representing a bit of socialness, because Gemini and Sagittarius can be very social, not social-like energy, but like to talk, like to interact with people, showcase a talent they have, express themselves, and etc. And then you got Aries energy. Aries is saying you're powerful, but use your power for the right reason. Amplify that willpower for the right reason. Right? Then we got the energy of Leo. Leo says be confident. Confidence and cockiness is two different things. We're talking about all of these energies in their divinity, and whether or not they're in your chart, they are cosmic, eternal vibrations. So they play a part in your mechanics, in your makeup, no matter where they are in your chart. And on an alchemy level, you can tap into all of them. And on a day-to-day basis, you can say, okay, this energy is here. My vibration and how my sign as an individual plays in my life, I can use this energy this way, or maybe I need to sit this out, and etc. You can, look, we'll be getting into it. We'll be getting more and more into it. I'm going to be covering those topics more. We have home and family. And I was talking about soul family. Building a lovely home, building a lovely sacred space for yourself is another way to look at that. A strong sense of family obligation. You can't make it up. It's right there. Fulfillment through family. Everything that we've been covering. Everything we've been talking about. And connections again. Listen. Babes. I'm telling you. My loves. That's your reading. That's your message. You know what you need to release. You know what you need to do and how you need to do it. If you were confused, if you just needed the confirmation, I pray this message gave it to you. I trust and believe that it did. Right? Comment below. You can release some of that energy. Comment below. I'm releasing these things that hold me back. I'm building the right connections. I have the people around me. I always tell you guys, a part of how I teach you to tap into your ability of bringing things forth is speak of them in the midst of happening and happened. Not it's going to, it is. It is taking place. It has taken place. Yeah. It's already being. It's already in existence. So even if you were to look next to you right now, you're like, I don't have somebody that's supportive sitting next to me right now. You're going to change that wording. I have supportive people around me. Supportive people are in contact with me on a regular basis. When I need assistance, that assistance comes through. You start And every time you say it, at first, maybe your voice will sound a little weak, but every time you say it, you speak it with more power. You speak it with more conviction. You allow yourself to trust and believe it and operate from that energy. And you will see all of the negative things here that were holding you back and blocking you purge out of the system because they'll no longer have power. Peace, love, and light, beautiful soul. Howdy, pal, too. You chose Horus. So the word channeling for you was actually transfiguration. Transfiguration that happens due to the spiritual growth taking place for you right now, which is helping you to tap into the willpower necessary to achieve victory. We're going to get into Overwatch for you, the Overwatch Tarot. And see how you're going through this spiritual change and upgrade, how you're tapping into this victory. What do you need to release? So we're seeing the release and the how. What's going on? Oh! Well, okay then. A part of what you need to release here, Four of Cups. A lot of times you can get fixated. I know a lot of times, people focus on the Four of Cups as being the energy of boredom, or sometimes just kind of ignoring the obvious thing that's in front of your face. But most of the time, the reason that you're ignoring the obvious thing in front of your face is because you're fixated on something else, particularly a thing that you feel like you might have put some work into, and it may not be turning out bad, but it's not turning out the desired effect. So, for example, we see that this person here has these vows, right? And let's say vow 1, that concoction was it was like, let's compare them to Kool-Aid. Like, this Kool-Aid is a little bitter. And the second one, that's a little sweet. And the third one, it feels like it's missing something. So by the time you're given that last option, you're like, ugh, I don't want to deal with this. You know what I mean? I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to put up with it. But in reality, that last one be the one that it's giving me the energy of, also, some of you tend to stop right when you're about to reach success. Some of you get discouraged and you stop when you were literally just a few steps away from, finally, I've achieved it. I've achieved what I've been trying to get my hands on this whole time. And you might need to pause on occasion and reflect on that. Four of Cups is about that energy as well, reflecting on things, checking in, trying to make sure that you're not missing something due to maybe being overly anxious or very focused on an energy that you might need to change, holding on to something that you need to release. That's a part of your karmic release that's taking place. We have Two of Swords here, needing to be able to bring balance in. 2 also came through for Pile 1. Pile 1 felt heavier than your message. So if you resonate to watch it, as with all these readings, be mindful of the triggers. Remember that they're there to be purged, okay? But 2 is resonating here as well. And the Two of Swords is giving me that energy of needing to be in harmony with your decisions. So the mind and the heart need to work together instead of separate, instead of saying, I can't work from my heart space. When you work from your heart space, you're working from the highest level, the highest frequency. When you can then match that with with clarity and clear vision, precise vision, you can formulate them details well, you breed success here. 4 was mentioned in the very, very beginning, before you chose your pile. I always tell you guys to go back, if you didn't, and do that breath work and listen to it, because those numbers and that breath work, that sequence, is helpful. So we have 4 popping out again, and we have 2 coming here. The half, if you would, of the 4. Somebody kind of like, you get in the energy of almost reaching a success and you stop halfway. You need to let that energy go. You need to release that. That's a part of what's creating this cycle of you kind of always getting almost close to achieving that right flavor. Remember we brought up the Kool-Aid reference. Almost being close to achieving that flavor you were seeking, but then you stop. And other times you might allow people to get in front of you and block your blessings and create confusion. Two of Swords can be a person also being confused or stressed about a choice, having a hard time making a decision. And at times that can be because there's too many. I'm hearing this song. It's old now or older now. But it's like about too many in the kitchen. If it's too many in the kitchen, you got to get out because I'm the cook. Why y'all all in here? You know what I mean? If you not the sous chef, if this ain't your kitchen, hop on up out of here. And it's like too many people come in sometimes and sort of distract you. But listen, you know what to do. You know what to do. You got 9 of credits. What you work on will bear fruit, but you have to have confidence in it. You've got to pay attention to the things that you might need to change and evolve so that the evidence, sometimes you have to believe in the results that you're seeing in the bits and pieces it comes in. So for example, say you're working on something and you get a little small bit of success with it, right? And you're like, man, yeah, okay, like posting videos, for example. Because a lot of people who watch me are also fellow readers, right? So say you post a video on TikTok. And it looks like the algorithm just isn't your friend, right? You're getting like 20 views, 3 likes or something like that. And it has nothing to do with the work. It has nothing to do with the message. Where's your energy focus, number 1? And number 2, are you staying consistent? Even I have that thing where it's like, okay, I got to get consistent and make sure these messages are coming out. I channel so much stuff on a regular basis that it quite frankly doesn't make sense for me not to have a video for y'all every day, to be for real. Sometimes situations may happen that distract us or create a disruption. People might distract us and create a disruption. It's our responsibility to get back in harmony, to get back in alignment. Trust and believe, no matter what's going on, that you're already receiving the fruits of your labor, that you are in the midst of being able to enjoy the luxuries of what you're achieving. Don't worry about having to look at it any other way, right? And as you do that, you may not always know how you know, but you start to unlock some stuff. You start to piece things together and figure it out. And now because you stay consistent with that energy, because you focus not on trying to please, for example, like please your audience, or when you're in the spiritual work, you really wasting your time if you out here saying, oh, what's the trending topic? Oh, the trending topic is shadow work, so that's what my thing is going to be about. Any message you see from me, that's what came in that day. You know what I mean? I might say, okay, I know that the energy to banish something is higher on Saturday because of that Saturn vibration. Let me go ahead on and tap into that for the collective and see what messages they get. But I'm not going to cater that message to fit a trend. Do you get what I'm saying? Focus on being focus on seeing that you are the value, and therefore whatever you work on is going to be prosperous because you are the embodiment of that prosperity. So then it's going to be kind of difficult to not see the power of your influence and how it comes from an inner knowing and a higher source. You don't need to question every little thing. Some of the stuff you work on might come out all right. And, sometimes when we first start making videos, video 1 is kind of crappy because the camera quality is ish. That's fine. A lot of ishy, crappy videos end up getting the most views sometimes, right? But over time, as you become more successful with it, you build your equipment. I'm using this as an example, but you can apply this to any area of life, any self-improvement, self-development, which is another thing that you guys are here for. And as you start to do this, as you raise that vibration and you elevate, the evidence is shown through your transfiguration. The evidence is shown in how your being just seemed to become, not even seem, it's becoming more enlightened. I always tell you guys, your appearance starts to change. Those of us that sometimes when we go through something, You know, we're dealing with an issue. We might look tired. In the moment we start elevating that energy, we don't look tired no more. The clock starts rewinding backwards. You start looking younger. The skin getting good. You got more energy. You're able to achieve more things. The projects you work on come out with better, whatever your version of perfection may be. Okay, as a Virgo, I gotta say that. Whatever your version of that may be. But you don't get lost and caught up in trying to just please to people. You see that you are the value. So when situations and opportunities come into your life, it's coming into your life because you're of value. If you get what I'm saying, comment below, loves. Filling one more tarot card. Ooh. Strength, confidence, boo-boo. Also, this is confidence in gentleness. Not needing to be harsh on yourself, not needing to be harsh on others. It's not saying that you're a pushover because it's still the strength card, right? The person's still dealing with a lion. The lion is still dealing with a person that has the strength to deal with them. But at the end of the day, it's the calmness of things. It's being able to observe from a calmer state. Be confident and bold in the decisions and the choices that you make, and trust and believe that they'll bear the fruit that you want, because deep down you already know. You have an inner knowing of what's going on. It might seem like a mystery when you think from a surface mentality, but when you dive deeper, dive into that crown and into the third eye and the higher levels above the crown, you realize that you already know what to do. The moment you believe that you could do it, you create the timeline where it exists. Now all you're doing is easing yourself into it. Let's see what shadow. Let's get into more of what you need to release. This deck, it doesn't pull any punches. The energies channeling don't either. So for them to choose this deck, that really means that they're not trying to go late on y'all. So let's see what they come out with. These cards were cleansed. This came out in pile 1. Some of you might resonate to watch pile 1. Okay? If you do, take what resonates for you as always. Right? But listen to your intuition. Listen to your instincts. Don't just do it because somebody advised it. Listen to your intuition. Listen to your instincts. And when I say in my readings, hey, you might want to check out boom, 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 that's what I'm channeling. That's what the vibration is saying. That's not going to be for everybody, so use your discernment. But we have masquerade again. Have the strength to take off the mask. Have the strength to see situations for what they are. Have the strength to be balanced between your instincts and your intuition, between your physical, mental, and spiritual vibration. If somebody's going through a really powerful spiritual change, and I'm going to tell you, I'm not sensing facelift like plastic surgery. I'm sensing it in the sense that the transfiguration, as you get more enlightened, you take in good things, you take care of your body, you take care of your mind, you're elevating your spirit, it starts to show physically. When pregnant women just have a glow. Everybody, the most non-believer of believer will look at a pregnant woman and go, ooh, I don't know, it's something about her. She looks like she's walking on air, or whatever the case may be. Evidence of seeing when a person's vibration is elevating. Also evidence of when a person's vibration it's collabing with another. When a mother is pregnant, her energy, her spirit team is collaborating with that of her child and with her child. Spirit babies aren't coming in here boo-boo the fool. They come in with a certain level of knowledge, and you're teaching them how to walk and adjust to this physical world so that they can start to express that knowledge they have. That's why they say out of the voice of babes, because children are so intuitive. Somebody here has kids because kids is popping up. It's balancing those energies and collaborating. So you might, once again, you may resonate with pile 1. You might have someone in your life that you need to be in balance with or in harmony with. There could be a group or a community that you work with that you need to show them the real you and be authentic. And the more authentic and courageous you are with that, the more that those results that weren't coming out that good before, that have left you maybe a little jaded or making you want to give up sometimes when you just start something, it'll start to heal. It'll start to cleanse. Also remember that all beings have the power of influence. So be mindful of what's influencing you and how your energy is influencing another. You can't make it up. This card also came out in pile 1. All decks are cleansed, boo-boo. Triumph of lies. What aren't you being real with yourself about? Right? What's actually a decision that's easy that you're making more complicated than it has to be? Why say that you can't, I can't reveal the messages that I really be tapping into, or I can't come out and say blah, blah, blah. It's just like making excuses. This feels like making excuses for you in this pile, right? I can't see how clear this is. I don't really trust it because all of these came out bad. But really, that's the one. Stop pausing yourself before you reach the level of success. You're like, some of y'all are literally like one step away from really achieving a powerful goal. You just got to let yourself trust in that vibrancy. And as I say this, we have colorless angel come out. Colorless angel, it channels a lot of times in my readings as like this negative void feeling where you sort of feel like, remember what I said about the Kool-Aid and what I just said about that, like something feels bland, it's off, the taste isn't quite right, the shade isn't quite right. You're looking at all the negative, you're letting the negative take full effect instead of paying attention to the prosperity that's there, instead of trusting and believing that you have the ability to bring something that seemed lifeless to life. If you've been dealing with that feeling of feeling kind of lifeless right now, this is making me think of 10 of Swords. Like, that's about to end. Whatever you cut the cord with your release from what we're talking about here, once you cut the cord, as you should with all things you release when it comes to karma, with a negative karma, you release it for good. That means you don't go back to it. You're going to have times where your mind will, try to creep in something negative, nip it in the bud right then and there. That's the trick. It's not that you may not think it. It's not that you may not feel like, man, I'm working on this thing and I'm just not seeing the results, or I'm trying to get better and understand these energies, but it's just not making sense right now. Maybe it's not meant to make sense right now. Maybe that not making sense is encouraging you to dive deeper, to expand further. And as you do that, the answers will come in. But it wants to come in through your experiences. Not just because somebody told you, not just because a book was put in front of you with all the answers and now boom, but because you went through the experience to know. You didn't, let fear stop you from that. Let's get into the spiritual warfare deck, another deck that is very honest and very blunt. The energy that comes out here could be an energy that's kind of like messing with you or disrupting you, or it could be an energy that you yourself are embodying. Be honest with yourself about it so that you can purge it as you need to. And then we'll get into the evolution of the soul deck. I'm not going to take the one that fell on the floor. Actually, I will. I'll take the one that fell on the floor. I'm getting tired of spirit constantly like shuffling the cards be where they should land, like right on the table, and they just like purposely put them on the floor. I'll translate why they did that in a moment. I'm going to leave that one face down and go to the ones that are face up. We have upside down. Enemies being turned on their heads for coming against you. Plots, schemes, attacks blowing up in their face. Reversals. Boo. Didn't I tell you? Feel like you have your luxuries already. Didn't I just tell y'all about influences and stuff? Look, don't let nobody make you feel like, oh, you've got to work so hard to be successful. Oh, well, that thing you did, every time you do it, it comes out bad. Instead of thinking that you failed, instead of thinking that something just didn't work, and you'll know if there's something that you just need. Maybe it was meant for you to gain the experience and then you shift gears, like you shift into something else. And if what you're doing or what you have, it's where it's at. It's just missing that key formula, 4 of Cups. Something's a little off and you're just pulling in the energies to help you figure it out. But in order for that to happen, you've got to release having blinders on. You've got to release feeling afraid. When you're not seeing the results you want, getting afraid and then stopping short. Nobody can cut your blessings unless you allow it. Some people allow accidentally because of their subconscious. They're in a low vibration. They allow certain words to get to them. Words have power. I don't care who you are, what position you're in, from somebody that thinks that they're the lowest to a person who thinks that they're the so-called highest. Everybody's words have power. Everyone can affect someone else's reality based on which vibrations they allow into their mentality or their system. You want to be angry all the time, people are going to be easy to trigger you. You feel depressed a lot of times and you're not trying to elevate, you might find that individuals can come around and know what buttons to push to bring your vibration down. But those enemies don't have real power. They just don't. Those naysayers don't have real power. So it's not about even taking your power back from them, because newsflash, they never really had it to begin with. That was an illusion. So don't let the words of others influence you negatively and make you feel like you've got to wear a mask, or that you're confusing you. We talked about all of that. We have air. Look at this. The first two words, rather. The power. Air. We just talked about power. The power of the mind, intellect, communication, and divination, boo-boo, brings the energies of motion, wisdom, health, imagination, and inspiration. This is your power. This is what you are capable of doing. So trust in yourself more. Believe in yourself more. We also have crystals. Natural elements used to promote physical, emotional, and spiritual healing. Use them to positively interact with your energy field. Y'all are going through a spiritual change. Your transfiguration it's a spiritual change. It's elevating into higher consciousness and levels. And anything you're working on, no matter what your field is, no matter what the relationships you deal with are, anything you're working on, it's going to improve because you're tapping into these higher energies. Of course, the card that fell on the floor would be light worker. I'm done. And I just heard, can you hear the symphony of your life? Instead of, you guys know that TikTok video where like somebody's talking and they're claiming something was so bad and it really wasn't that bad, and then people do that, the fingers like that, you hear that, right? Like somebody complain like something was so difficult and so hard, but it's not really that difficult. So it's like somebody's playing the violin, playing the sad music. Some of you guys might be making something worse or harder than it is. Or people talking to you are trying to make something seem impossible when it's not. You just need to stay not only consistent, but you must believe that failure is not an option. Not from the standpoint of stressing yourself out, but from the standpoint that you know you're that powerful. You know that you're that capable. And so you're willing to shine that light. You're willing to tap into that willpower. What did I say from the beginning when I said you guys chose hearts? You're willing to tap into that willpower and be victorious. Using your spiritual gifts. Didn't I say some of you watching, sometimes people who watch are readers or just healers, or you are someone who has the capability, whether you have a channel right now or a full business right now or not, you tend to help people. And you're being given the upgrades necessary. For some of you is to do it as a living. For some of you, maybe you'll make a product or a program or something that will continue to help people with that. I have programs coming for you guys right now. Maybe some of you are meant to, join that. Maybe some of you, there's so many options here. But you're meant to understand and see your power. So what your karmic release is anything that blocks you from tapping into that willpower. I see the elevation of soul for you. Wow, level 10 consciousness. Listen. I'm always telling you guys, take responsibility. You're taking responsibility for your life. This is what you're meant to do. Anything that tries to block that, let it go. Own up to the mistakes that you've made. But you know what? Stop always seeing stuff as a mistake. It's a lesson. Right? It was a trip. It was a slip up. And now you can fix it. Some things it makes sense to call a mistake because, it was a big enough problem or a big enough issue. And it's getting brighter the more I talk. The sun is coming out even more. I'm telling you, the sun that comes through my window, the light that comes through will reflect the deepness of the energy. It might get dark either when it's time to close curtain or when it's time to tap into like, hey, we got some deep shadow to clear out. And it'll get brighter as it's like, yes, this energy here, this is what you want. That's what you're going for. Illuminating in light, shining your brightness, letting your true colors come through, not being void of color and flavor and vivaciousness. But in order for it to happen, you've got to take responsibility. You can't be a bystander in your life. You write the story. You write the story. Level 10, consciousness. Remember the high priestess came out here, right? You live in your own spiritual reality. Do you see what I'm saying here? You're able to channel divine power. Come on. Come on, Power 2. Come on with it. Long life. A lot of you can tap into many different lifetimes. Remember, time is not linear. And there's fluency all around. Many of you can tap into different lifetimes. And in doing so, you gain a lot of the knowledge and the wisdom necessary. That nine of coins to be able to have the luxuries that you deserve. Whatever that may be for you. Whatever the good life looks like for you. Okay, boo? And be able to live the good life long. To free your soul to the extent that you live that good life every life. You see what I'm saying? A lot of journey and a lot of lessons are happening for you right now. Power 2. You just decided to come all the way through, boo boo. You just decided this is confirmation for you. You already know high priestess energy. You didn't know how you know, but here's your confirmation now. Now you know more. Okay? Peace, love, and light, beautiful souls. And I just saw the numbers 2626. That's significant here for some bate. Peace.
Get your copy of Love Confession Cyber Edition. Link in bio.